Hello, billionairettes. Hope you had a beautiful day today. And I'm so excited because we're going to dive into chapter 2 of The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz. And we've had some awesome feedback on chapter 1, which is really, really awesome. If you haven't watched chapter 1, go ahead and watch chapter 1. At this moment or after this video so you can be caught up, but definitely excited here to be just showing up here every single night, about 5 to 6 nights a week, and reading with you so we can grow together. We're definitely looking to get to 1,000 subscribers because when that happens, not only are we making a greater impact, but we're able to live stream on YouTube, so we can actually do this live. Right now, we can't do it live. So let's get to 1,000. If you like what you hear, after this, and you love the vibe, and you're learning, and you're growing, then feel free to share the video or hit subscribe, maybe a little like button there, so we can definitely help us get to that 1,000 subscribers, so we can start doing this live. But hope you had a beautiful day. Have your drink of choice out, and maybe your robe or your PJs on. And let me know in the comments, what time, do you like to do your reading before bed? You can tell me, look, I'd like to do it earlier. I'd like to do it later. I would love to know. We would love to know. So when we do go live and when we do post these videos, we can get it in the best time. So anyways, let's dive right into it. Super pumped up. Chapter 2, right? A visit with grandfather. A simple truth is discovered. I consider myself lucky because I grew up learning from an ancient tradition known as the Toltec. My mother was a great healer, and to witness miracles was nothing extraordinary because I didn't know anything else. I grew up believing that anything is possible, but what I learned about the Toltec was full of superstition and mythology. I remember seeing superstitions everywhere, as a teenager, I began to rebel against all of the lies that come from this tradition. I learned to challenge everything until certain experiences opened my eyes to the truth. Then I knew that what I had learned from the ancient Toltec was no longer a theory. I knew, but I could not explain it with words. In this book, I want to tell you about some of the experiences that changed my point of view completely. With each experience, I realized something that was always obvious, but that I had never seen before. Perhaps the way I relate these stories to you is not exactly the way they happen, but it's the way I perceive them and try to explain them to myself. Maybe you have had similar moments when you realized, as I did, that most of what we believe is not the truth. Opportunities to perceive the truth always come to us, and my life has been full of these opportunities. Many of them I just let go, but others opened my spiritual eyes and made the transformation in my life possible. One of these opportunities came from a visit with my grandfather when I was a teenager in college. My grandfather was what they call an old Nawab, which is like a shaman. He was close to 90 years old, and people used to visit with him just to learn, just to be around him. Grandfather had been teaching me since I was a child, and I had worked hard all my youth to be good enough to earn his respect. Well, this was a time when I was pretending to be an intellectual, and I wanted to impress my grandfather with my opinions about everything I was learning in school. I was ready to show the one who had the bigger influence on my life how smart I was. Good luck. I went to my grandfather's house, and he received me the way he always did. With a big smile, with enormous love. I started to tell him my point of view about all of the injustice in the world, about the poverty, about the violence, about the conflict between good and what I then called evil. My grandfather was very patient, and he listened very carefully to everything I said. This encouraged me to speak even more, just to impress him. At a certain point, I saw a little smile on his face. Oh, I knew something was coming. I was not impressing him at all. I thought, oh, he's making fun of me. He noticed my reaction and looked directly into my eyes. Well, Miguel, those are very good theories that you've learned, he said. But they're only theories. Everything you have told me is just a story. It doesn't mean that it's true. Of course, I felt a little badly about this. I took it personal right away, and I tried to defend my point of view. But it was too late because now my grandfather started to talk. He looked at me with a big smile and said, "You know, most people around the world believe that there is a great conflict in the universe. A conflict between good and evil. Well, this is not true. It's true that there is a conflict, but the conflict only exists in the human mind, not in the universe. It's not true for the plants or the animals. It's not true for the stars or the trees, or for the rest of nature. It's only true for humans. And the conflict in the human mind is not really between good and evil. The real conflict in our mind is between the truth and what is not the truth. Between the truth and lies." Let me repeat that one more time, and I'm going to actually underline it. The real conflict in our mind is between the truth and what is not the truth, between the truth and lies. Good and evil are just a result of that conflict. The result of believing in the truth is goodness, love, happiness. When you live your life in truth, you feel good and your life is wonderful. The result of believing in lies is defending those lies creates what you call evil. It creates fanaticism. Believing in lies creates all of the injustice, all of the violence and abuse, and all of the suffering, not only in society, but in the individual. The universe is as simple as it is or it is not, but humans complicate everything. That's powerful. That's powerful. When you live your life in truth, you feel good and your life is wonderful. The result of believing in lies and defending those lies creates what you call evil. It creates fanaticism. Believing in lies creates all of the injustice, all of the violence and abuse, all of the suffering, not only in society, but also in the individual. The universe is as simple as it is or it is not, but humans complicate everything. What my grandfather told me was logical, and I understood what he was saying, but I didn't believe him. How could all of the conflict in the world, all of the war, violence, and injustice be the result of something so simple? Surely it must be more complicated than that. Grandfather went on to say, "Miguel, all of the drama you suffer in your personal life is a result of believing in lies, mainly about yourself. And the first lie you believe is you are not. You are not the way you should be. You are not good enough. You are not perfect. We are born perfect. We grow up perfect, and we will die perfect because only perfection exists. But the big lie is that you are not perfect, that nobody is perfect. So you start to search for an image of perfection that you can never become. You will never reach perfection in that way because the image is false. It's a lie, but you invest your faith in that lie. And then you build a whole structure of lies to support it. In that moment, I didn't realize that my grandfather had given me a great opportunity. Something as simple as having the awareness that every drama in my life, all of the suffering in my life, was because I believed in lies. Though I wanted to believe what my grandfather said, I only pretended to believe him. And it was so logical that I said, "Oh yes, grandfather, you're right. I agree with you." But I was lying. There were too many lies inside my head to accept something as simple as the truth. Then my grandfather looked at me very kindly and said, Miguel, I can see that you are trying hard to impress me, to prove that you are good enough for me. And you have the need to do this because you are not good enough for yourself. Ouch. He got me right there. I didn't know why, but I felt as if he had caught me in a lie. I never realized that my grandfather knew about my insecurities, about the self-judgment and self-rejection, about the guilt and the shame I felt. How did he know that I was pretending to be what I was not? Grandfather was smiling again as he told me, Miguel, everything you've learned in school, everything you know about life is only knowledge. How can you know if what you've learned is the truth or not? How can you know if what you believe about yourself is the truth? At that point, I reacted and said, of course I know the truth about myself. I live with myself every day. I know what I am. Grandfather really laughed at that and said, the truth is that you have no idea what you really are. But you know what you are not. You have been practicing what you are not for so long that you really believe your image is what you are. Your faith is invested in all those lies you believe about yourself. It's a story, but it's not the truth. Miguel, what makes you powerful is your faith. Faith is the power of creation that all humans have, and it doesn't have anything to do with religion. Faith is a result of an agreement. When you agree to believe in something without a doubt, you invest your faith. If you have no doubt about what you believe, then for you it is truth, even though it may really be a lie. Your faith is so powerful that if you believe that you are not good enough, you are not good enough. And if you believe you will fail, because that is the power and magic of your faith. As I said before, you suffer because you believe lies. It's that simple. Humanity is the way it is because collectively we believe so many lies. Humans have carried the lies for thousands of years, and we react to the lies with hate, with anger, with violence, but they're only lies. I was wondering, then how can we know the truth? Before I could ask this question out loud, my grandfather answered it. The truth needs to be experienced. Humans have the need to describe, to explain, to express what we perceive. But when we experience the truth, there are no words to describe it. Whoever claims this is the truth is lying without even knowing it. We can perceive truth with our feelings, but as soon as we try to describe it with words, we distort it and it's no longer the truth. It's our story. It's a projection based on reality that is only true for us. But still, we try to put our experience into words, and this is something wonderful, really. It's the greatest art of every human. Grandfather could see that what he had just said wasn't clear to me. Miguel, if you're an artist, a painter, you try to express what you perceive through your art. What you paint may not be exactly what you perceive, but it is close enough to remind you of what you perceive. Well, imagine that you are very lucky and you are Pablo Picasso's friend. And Picasso loves you. He decides to make a portrait of you. You pose for Picasso, and after many days, he finally shows you your portrait. You will say, "This is not me." And Picasso will say, "Of course it is you. This is how I see you." For Picasso, this is true. He is expressing what he is perceiving. But you will say, "I don't look like that." Well, every human is the same as Picasso. Every human is a storyteller, which means that every human is an artist. What Picasso does with colors, we do with words. Humans witness life happening inside us and all around us, and we use words to make a portrait of what we witness. Humans make up stories about everything we perceive, and just like Picasso, we distort the truth. but for us, it is the truth. Of course, the way we express our distortion could be something other people enjoy. Picasso's art is highly valued by many people. All humans create their story with their own unique point of view. Why trying to impose your story on other people when for them your story is not true? When you understand that, you no longer have the need to defend what you believe. It's not important to be right or to make others wrong. Instead, you see everybody as an artist. A storyteller. You know that whatever they believe is just their point of view. It has nothing to do with you. Well, I had wanted to impress my grandfather, but he had impressed me once again. I had so much respect for my elders. Later in my life, I understood that smile on my grandfather's face. He had not been making fun of me. The smile was because I reminded him of a time when, just like me, he had tried to impress his elders. After this conversation with my grandfather, I felt the need to make sense of all things. I wanted to understand my personal life and to find out when I began to invest my faith in lies. It was not easy. That conversation took me years to digest. To see myself in the present moment, to see what I believe, was not that obvious and not so easy to give up. But I wanted answers because this is my nature. I needed to know, and the only point of reference was my memories. All right, well, that was powerful, y'all. We are going to dive into some points to ponder because that was pretty incredible. What did you get out of that? Put it in the comments. If anything just hit you, if anything, blew your mind or was like, oh wow, that is crazy. Let us know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. All right, points to ponder. 1, there's a conflict in the human mind between the truth and what is not the truth, between the truth and lies. The result of believing in the truth is goodness, love, happiness. The result of believing and defending lies is injustice and suffering, not only in society, but also in the individual. This is so powerful here. I know is going to set so many people free, just like it did for me about 10 years ago. This is the truth right here, even though it's words, right? But the result of believing and defending lies is injustice and suffering, not only in society, but also in the individual. Okay. Number 2, all of the drama humans suffer is a result of believing in lies, mainly about ourselves. The first lie we believe is, I am not. I am not the way I should be. I am not perfect. The truth is that every human is born perfect because only perfection exists. There's another one of Don Miguel's books. I believe it's not in this one. But the fact of the perfection of like, you are born perfect. A lot of times we hear from people like, no one's perfect. But how could something so perfect like God create something, or why would he create something that's not perfect? Think about that. Powerful. Number 3, we humans have no idea what we really are, but we know what we are not. We create an image of perfection and a story about what we should be, and we begin to search for a false image. The image is a lie, but we invest our faith in that lie. Then we build a whole structure of lies to support it. 4, faith is a powerful force in humans. If we invest our faith in a lie, that lie becomes truth for us. If we believe we are not good enough, then thy will be done. We are not good enough. If we believe we will fail, we will fail, because that is the power and magic of our faith. 5, humans can perceive truth with our feelings. But when we try to describe the truth, we can only tell a story that we distort with our word. The story may be true for us, but that doesn't mean it is true for anyone else. And number 6, all humans are storytellers with their own unique point of view. When we understand this, we no longer feel the need to impose our story on others or to defend what we believe. Instead, we see all of us as artists with the right to create our own art. Wow. What a powerful chapter. If this was a powerful chapter for you, let me know in the comments. I mean, this is a chapter that I feel like, you just got to listen to over and over and over again, and catch different things and start to implement and remind ourselves this throughout our days, when circumstances come, or maybe when you start to feel a little, and emotions other than, happiness and joy and peace. Come back to this, listen to it again, and it'll remind you of the truth. So I'm definitely excited for you, and we'll be jumping into chapter 3 tomorrow. So see you tomorrow night with your hot tea or your water with lemon and your robe. And we'll see you tomorrow night. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. If you like this, go ahead and give it a little like button, or subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Can't wait to continue to build this relationship with you and help you through your journey of personal and financial freedom. We'll see you tomorrow.